Mike, already a lot of people are talking about what may happen in April, but what do you aim to do in the 82-game regular season?
Well, I mean, we're not there yet. So what we'll do is we'll start here today talking to players, and then we'll try to reestablish our work ethic and our structure in training camp. Training camp's an individual time of year. As much as we're building the team, guys are in here. Whether you're a kid and you're going right back to junior, you're trying to make an impression, you're trying to learn from good veterans. Whether you're a guy, you know, you're going to the American Hockey League, you're trying to make an impression so you can be the first call-up. Whether you're the 4 or 5 guys that are actually battling for jobs on our roster and think you're right in, is those 4 exhibition games, what can you do with it? And then if you're our guys and you're pretty much sure you're going to be here, are you getting to play in the first minute, the last minute? Are you playing 4-on-4? Are you playing in overtime? Are you on the power play or on your penalty kill? How many minutes are you going to play? Those things are all up for grabs every year, and what we do is we watch the players, they play, and we figure it out.
Coach, you, when John got signed, you talked about, you know, you had an idea, at least going into camp, what the lines would be. Have you thought at all about, on the power play, whether you'd like those, he and Austin, together or on different power play units?
Yeah, I've thought about it lots, yeah.
And?
I thought about it lots, yeah. We're gonna work on a power play in camp. You won't see those players together in camp just because they're on 3 different teams. But then when we get going, probably by game 5 of exhibition, those units will be together and we'll get going. Now, obviously, everything with a power play, the penalty kill, is about success. When you have success, you stay together. When you don't have success, they move around. When you have success, you go out first. If your group scores in the power play, you go out right away. If your group doesn't score, you don't go out. It doesn't matter what your name is, it matters what you did.
Mike, when you first arrived here a few years ago, what would you say the difference is between that point and this point now in terms of the overall feel of the organization?
Well, come on, we're the worst team in hockey. But we're also going the wrong direction for 1 year when you think about it, so we could go in the right direction. And so now we're on the map with other good teams. And I think, you know, what's interesting is when you walk around the city, the fans in our city are happy. And they want more, though. But we want more, too. I think we're set up real good here for, I don't know, 5-7 year run. Anybody who's been around winning in the National Hockey League knows you need a run. It's not about 1 year, it's about a run. Now, you're always all in on the year you're in, but you need a run. And not everything goes the way you want it to go all the time, but steady on the rudder, stay with the same process we've been in. So we've been about finding players, developing players, getting better. And we'll continue. And as much as process was so important at the start, it's even more important now. And just steady on the rudder, keep going. Things are going to go up, things are going to go down. We know where we want to go.
Mike, just piggybacking on that a little bit, you know, the expectation on the outside, or, you know, Stanley Cup favorites. How do you talk to the guys about, you know, shutting out the noise and tempering expectations within the room? Like, do you have to have that conversation with them?
No, I mean, our group's going to be very. When you have Patrick Marleau, you have John Tavares, you have Ron Hainsey, you got guys who've been around. And so they got some battle scars on them, and they know that's just noise. The more noise you have, the more fans you have. So you can't survive and be a real good franchise without media and the noise and all that attention. But the reality is we're just trying to get better. We're trying to get better each and every day. And we need to reestablish our work ethic and our structure right here at camp. We need to have the players in the right situation so their skill come out, and then keep going. And you always want to get off to a good start. There's never a guarantee you want to get off to a good start. It's hard to crawl your way out of a tough start. You want to be organized and win it early if you possibly can, and so that will be our focus. And then we'll just keep trying to get better every 5-game segment.
Mike, is it going to be a balancing act in terms of ice time, power play usage, when you're talking about having this many talented forwards?
Well, you know what's interesting is the way I look at it, if the shift length is the right length, so about 42 seconds, 44 seconds at a time, everyone's going to get lots of ice time, and we're going to stay fresh. And so it's interesting, when we play our players less, we've won. And when we play them more, we know we're behind and we're chasing the game, and then we never win those games. But at the end, everyone looks at the sheet. I look at the score. You know, the bottom line, we're process-based. You play good, you play more. There's lots of ice time to go around. On good teams, you might not get as much ice time. You just get more winning. And in the end, I think that's probably what it's about.
Hey, Coach, just wondering, just outside of Tavares, who are some of the other new additions that maybe you're excited about?
Well, I think, you know, we got a real battle on D for sure. You know, is it, was he gone off? Is it Hall? Is it Rosen? Is it Borgman? Is it Carrick? Is it, you know, Dermott? It's all, there's a real opportunity there. And battle, I think, you know, Lindholm and Goat and these guys, Lindholm's looked really good. Goat's been here a long time. There's a battle there. There's certain guys that we know, you know, and I know they're all on the team, where they're going to play and who they're going to play with, and they're going to determine that over time.
Chris. Yeah, Coach, question on Austin and JT. Austin said earlier this summer that he wants to have more assists than goals. I'm just wondering what your thinking is behind that and whether you support that. And secondly, with JT, do you think the off-ice distraction will be a challenge to keep them focused on the game? Because everybody's going to want a piece of it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the off-ice stuff is way harder for the 20-year-old. But for the guy who's been around the league a long time, he's got a wife, he's going to have a life. The idea, I believe, as a pro athlete, if you have a whole life, you're laughing. If you only have hockey and you leave the rink and all you do is think about hockey, you come back the next day worn out. But if you got a whole life and you got things going on, you think Patty Marleau, when he goes home with his 4 boys, got time to worry about hockey? That's why he's fresh when he comes to the rink the next day. You need a life. No different than you people. When you people aren't doing well at your job, when you've just got a tightening from your boss, you go home and think about your job. When it's going real good, you don't think about your job. You come back fresh the next day. It's the same thing for athletes.
And about, sorry, my question on Austin, about wanting more assists than goals.
You know what? Then Willie's got to show up and Willie's got to shoot it under the bar. How's that?
I was just wondering how the change in GMs affects you as a coach. Like Lou is famous for his rules. Do you say to the players, yeah, we're going to keep a lot of rules, Lou's rules, or do you say, oh, go ahead, kid, you can feel free to look like Brent Burns? Or?
Well, you know, I think Doobie's showing up here later. You can ask him these questions. But what I would say to you is this, is that we've worked together now 3 years, Doobie and myself, and you know, Lou did a hell of a job when he was here, but he's now with the Islanders. And I think it's real important that everybody who's a manager manages in their own way. That's the only success. If you're a coach, you can't be someone else. You got to be who you are. And so I think the way you run the team's got to be indicative. Now, the image of Lou and who he really is so out of whack, it's not even funny. But you know, he just ran some structure, and we're going to have structure in the same way. So I don't think things are very different that way. Cal's a smart guy, had lots of success, and we're just going to continue doing what we're doing.
Terry. Hey, Mike. Just some sort of perception of the decor from the outside. I mean, there's still an improvement needs to be made there. I'm just wondering what you think about papering out going into camp, whether that group as it is can be part of the group that a long run of the playoffs.
Well, I think the group's real good, better than a lot of people think. We got 2 50-point D-men. I don't know how many teams in the league got 2 50-point D-men. We believe we can get way better defensively. That's our focus, to get better defensively, or one of our key focuses. We got about 3 main focuses that we're going to really dial in on, besides redoing what we did. To pretend we know what's going on, we're just going to show up, that doesn't work. We got to redo it every year. You got to get back on track, so that's what we're going to do. But we think we can get way better in that area. But we also think our guys are getting better. You know, Haynes is what Haynes is, but the rest of the guys are getting better for sure. And now we're going to find a 6th guy to put in every single day, 5th guy and a 6th guy. We got 4, and we'll work that out over a month here.
Mike, you've always been big on process and keeping things the same, and you've had teams that have had very low expectations.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them. And you've had teams that have had the highest expectations possible that you've coached. Does anything you do change depending on the expectation level and the talent level of what you've got to deal with?
Well, I mean, my first year here, the sun got up in the morning, but you had to crank yourself up to get in the rink. That was a little different. It's way more fun to win. It's way more fun to have a chance to win. I believe in life's preparation has to be equal to the opportunity. Our opportunity here for the next 5 to 7 years is unbelievable. So the preparation and the work ethic should be exactly the same. And so when we ask our players to go away in the summer and get in better shape, do more, we expect the same for the coaches. From July 5th as a head coach in the NHL, in my opinion, after you're done with free agency and all that stuff, it's the time to reinvent yourself, to get better. You're doing the same thing. So each year's a new year, and you're trying to be better and help the players be better. What won last year won't win this year. So you just got to keep evolving. We challenge our players to do that, and we're trying to do the same. In saying all that, by getting older, Mitch Marner's a better hockey player. Will Nealon's a better hockey player. You know, Matty's a better hockey player. All these guys are way better players just because they got another year under their belt. When you look at them, they're thicker. So we're in a better spot to have success.
Steve. Mike.
Hi, Steve.
You don't have Nylander to start. And then you might not have him tomorrow, and who knows for how long. How big a factor is it to be missing a player of that quality through camp and how long you're going to win put their lives together and that kind of thing?
Well, I think the big thing is obviously Kyle and his representative work that stuff out, and this is a part of our business. Anytime you're the player and you're not here today, it's hard on you as the player. You want to be here. The guys would like you here, and I'd like you here. But that's part of the process they're going through right now, and in the meantime, we get to find another player. And so someone's going to play with Matthews that wasn't playing with Matthews, and they're going to get a heck of an opportunity, and we might find a player out of that, and then we're ahead in the game for that. But, I mean, these things it'll get sorted out.
Great. This was obviously an impactful offseason for this team, and you just said a little while ago that this is a team that's now set up for the next 5-7 years. As a coach, when you prepare for a season like this, does it make the summer go by fast because you're so busy, or do you get time to sit back and relax and enjoy what's happened in the offseason, or does it drag on because you're anxious to get back at it? What kind of summer do you have?
Well, you know that whole life thing I was talking about earlier? No one has more fun than me. So in the season, in life, that's just the way I am. So I'm going to give her as hard as I can at the rink and at home. And so I enjoyed my family a ton, energized, ready to go, but we're excited. The other thing is, I feel like it's my first year here. So now you get to coach the team. Before, it was just, you're just trying to get the team to be at a certain level. This is kind of like being with the Red Wings all over again, is now we have an opportunity. And now, I mean, my first year with the Red Wings won 58 games and lost in the first round of playoffs. Those are battle scars you go through. That's part of life here. So that's not your goal. Your goal is to play as long as you possibly can. But the first thing in the National Hockey League, if you look at it, we're all the same. So getting in the playoffs is your first priority. In order to get in the playoffs, you got to have a great training camp, reestablish the things I've talked about in work ethic, and then you got to get ready for your first 20. And so it's no different than any other year.
Mike, with William, how much of an impact can it have on a player if he misses a chunk of training camp? I mean, we don't know how much time he's going to miss, but how much does that affect his readiness for the season?
Well, you know what? We got all these guys that do all these kind of stuff, so we had to analyze every player that ever played in October and how they did and all that. We already did all that. You know, the bottom line is this is what I'd tell you is that you're getting better every day. And as much as you push yourself, if you think you're pushing yourself as hard as you're going to be pushed coming up, no chance. Plus, they're pushing one another. And the better teams you have, when ice time is available, what you asked me about, they're pushing. They know there's too many guys for the penalty kill. They know there's too many guys for the power play. They know there's too many guys for 5-on-6 and 6-on-5. Why? They look at the sheet and they go, I better get going here. That's the greatest thing going. That internal accountability leads to success, and it pushes guys. So you're getting better every day. So every day you're not here, you're not here.
Two more questions, Nikki and George.
Mike, it's obviously a small sample size, but how would you say Tavares is fitting in with the other players, and how would you describe your relationship with him so far?
Well, I've had JT, 2 times, once at the Olympics, once at the World Cup. What you're going to see about Johnny right away is he's a hockey nut, and he's an ultimate pro, and he's all business. And so if you're me, and suddenly you got Patty Marleau, and then now you got more help at Haynes, you got guys who, they set the bar high for us. So it's really good for our young guys to watch them, how they handle themselves, how they handle the media, how they live their life, how they prepare, how hard they work. Those are all things I can talk about, but it's way better than when someone else is showing and leading the way. And so I think your leadership group in the National Hockey League is so important. And obviously, you know, Mo's obviously always worn a letter here, but, you know, with Marleau, with Tavares, Jake Gardner now, Naz, Hainsey, and then those three young guys we always talk about, we've talked about here today, we have a real leadership group, and Freddie Anderson's a huge part of that group as well.
Mike, the Humboldt Broncos returned to the ice last night. I know it hit the hockey world hard, hit you hard. I'm just wondering what you thought of last night.
Well, I loved it. My son and I did their camp here in the spring. It was what an opportunity it was for us to go and meet all the people and see all the people last night. It was interesting for me. The Kamrubs are good friends of mine. To see their son play last night, Kabalka's my first cousin's son, and so it was great to watch that last night. But the emotion, I mean, I grew up right next to Humboldt, so the emotion and the people, and I've talked to, from coaches to players to parents, a ton of them. It's great that they were able to get started and get going, and now they're trying to create some sort of normalcy. Now, I don't know how you ever have normalcy, to be honest with you, in that situation, but I thought it was spectacular, and I thought the people covering the game last night were so right, did it so well, and worked hard to do it well, and worked hard with the emotion of the situation to try to be, I don't know if perfect's the right word, but I thought they were. I thought the broadcast and the whole thing was special. And so, you know, your heart still goes out to the people, obviously, and to the team and the players, but you wish them well. And that healing process is a journey for sure. And that's another step.